see what I've made?
Wow, that looks like our new home, huh?
It's as simple as this to make your dream home come true with Bank of Baroda. Easy home loans in UAE and India with simple procedures, quick approvals and low interest rates.
Dad, let's go for a drive in a new car.
Let's go!
Drive your dream car with Bank of Baroda. Speedy car loans at low interest rates. Imagine it and it can be yours. Bank of Baroda, India's international bank.
Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of the steering committee of IBPC Women's Forum, I'm delighted to extend a warm and a hearty welcome to each one of you. I am Jaya Mahalingam, and together with my team, Manisha Phadke, Jaya Bhatia, and Chetna Shastri, we are excited to take on the baton of the steering committee of IBPC's Women's Forum. We are committed to bringing events that are relevant and are steeped in value addition. These are very unusual times, and we would love to hear, especially from the IBPC women members, on how we could help. We are extremely pleased to kickstart our term with the first event today on a subject that is indeed topical. The month of October is globally recognized and observed as the Pink Month or the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And what better way to mark this than with a session to hear the experts on the subject. I'm sure this is close to all our hearts, so let us sit back and get enlightened. To take us through this session, we have a person who is from the medical community, a general practitioner, and also a lifestyle management consultant and a trainer for well-being. A long timer in the UAE, she is also an active contributor to medical journals and is an accomplished speaker. In fact, she was featured in the Friday magazine of Gulf News together with her mother just last year, last October, exactly a year ago, on this very subject. Her mother, at age 84, is a breast cancer survivor and now a motivational speaker. So please put your hands together for a virtual applause to welcome the moderator of this afternoon, Dr. Manisha Phadke. Over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Jaya. Dear friends, year 2020 has been a reminder that we are all in this together. Our actions and choices have the power to protect the most vulnerable amongst us in a big way. The same holds true when it comes to breast cancer. Breast cancer awareness is important, but so is breast health awareness. October is a month of celebration of womanhood. It is also called Pink Month. We also hereby wish to extend our support to all those who are currently undergoing their own breast treatment journey. Dear friends, together we can get her the care she deserves the most, that is health education, screening, and treatment support, irrespective of the circumstances. The theme of year 2020 breast cancer awareness is to get her, that is to be together. Today, IBPC Women's Forum has taken a step forward in this direction. I welcome our guest speakers to share their knowledge and experience on this important topic. We are privileged to have with us Dr. Elsie Oman, Senior Radiologist from Adam and Eve Specialized Medical Center, Abu Dhabi. And we are also enlightened to have Dr. Soha Talima, a clinical oncologist from Zuleika Hospital, Sharjah. First, Dr. Elsie would be presenting few slides to understand breast cancer and the diagnostic modalities, followed by an interactive session with Dr. Soha Talima about treatment options. You are welcome to post your queries on the chat box. Time permitted, doctors would attend to it. First, I will welcome Dr. Elsie. Dr. Elsie has more than 2 decades of experience in UAE in conventional radiology and has special interest and expertise in breast imaging, that is, for early detection of cancer mammography. I welcome Dr. Elsie for her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Manisha. It's my privilege to have you all. IBPC, I especially thank you, all the organizers of IBPC, as well as Dr. Manisha, for giving me a opportunity to speak to you all. So let me start my screen sharing. So this is actually the figure. 1 out of 8 women have breast cancer. That is a US figure, UK figure, all are saying that, all agree to that, though there are controversies in other things. And you can see the stage, so like stage 1, it is very early. Then this is the best time to do a mammogram or a diagnostic to check the ultrasound. The more early we detect, the more it is easy will be for the treatment, and it is good for the patient as well. Then this is about stage 2. Then when it spreads, it is spreading in the armpit area. Stage 3, if it is involved, it is a big, more than 2 centimeter mass. And then stage 4 means it is spread, that's called metastasis, means it is spread to the different parts of the body. So this is the UA figure which I was talking about, the pink one which is shown, that is the most, breast cancer is one of the leading cause of death in the females, especially in UA, it has been common. And you can see 10 years before, like if it is 40, here 30 years onwards, we can see the breast cancer patients, especially in the locals. So this is the incidence, how like out of the 9 million population is there in UAE. Out of 9 million population, the number of new cases that has come up in the last 2018 figures. These are the statistics I have taken from 2018, and it's showing a substantial number of patients who are coming. Then this is just to show how like UAE, the figures about the female, the breast cancer is affecting, how much is affecting the graph. You can see the death rates are more in breast, and then the second is about the uterus. You can see that now we can just share what are the breast cancer symptoms. Mostly when the patient comes, they come with a lump. They just come with a lump, small lump they feel. Sometimes it is a rash, which is on the nipple. Hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Okay. So sometimes there can be a bloody discharge from the nipple. If it is a white or yellowish discharge, nothing to worry. Many patients get anxious thinking that there is some yellow discharge or white discharge. That is not much of a problem. But if it is a bloody discharge, definitely it is a concern. Then there is, sometimes it can be just swelling of the breast. Sometimes it can be a tenderness in the breast. So these are the symptoms which mostly happens. And then discharge from the nipple, sometimes the veins can be more prominent in that area. Sometimes the skin changes can be there. Sometimes compared to the right or left breast, one breast has become smaller or bigger. So that is also important. Skin changes also can come. So just that is a slide just to show what all the changes can happen. So this is the most important slide, I think. It is the early detection plan is very important. If a breast cancer is detected early, the survival is 100%, 95 to 100%. That is a 5-year relative survival rate is very good. So I have, out of my 30 years experience also, I also feel that the mammogram, if it is detected early, it is very, very useful to treat the patient. It can be easily treated. And then regular clinical examination is very important. Self-examination is very important, and complete body checkup and mammogram. This month is October, is actually a breast cancer awareness month. So everyone of us should think that we have to keep a date fixed. Now, tomorrow, Friday, this Friday, third Friday is the mammography day, actually. Every third Friday of October, it's celebrated as a National Mammography Day. So at least this month, any time when you get a free time, all should go and get clinical examination at a mammogram or a breast examination, breast ultrasound, so that we can we can detect it early. So this is very important slide again, because this talking about the risk factors. This first, being a female itself is actually a risk factor. Then the age, above 40, it is another risk. Though in this UAE, I have seen that even 30s we have seen early this ductal carcinoma in situ. Then personal history, of the family history, that is all important. Then some people have particular genes in their body which can cause which can give a high risk of breast cancer. Those are called BRCA1 and BRCA2 genes. Those also can be detected. Nowadays, so much of sophisticated techniques are there. And then the early menarche, so like first the period starting, that is called the menarche. If that is early, like here we have seen usually in India and all 12 years, 13 years, but here we have seen even 9 years, the girl has got periods. So that is called early menarche. That is also another risk. Then having no children, that is also another risk. Having a pregnancy after 25, that is also risk. Then having a full, this lack of breastfeeding, that is a very important point I want to emphasize, especially the young ladies who are there, they have to remember that breastfeeding is very important. So there is actually working women, everything is tried to stop the breastfeeding and then go for top feeding everything, but this it's good for the immunity of the baby as well as good for the breast. Then use of hormone replacement therapy. This is very common because especially 10 years back, this was very too much used by women. So that is also another risk. And I would say that if hormone replacement therapy should be very minimized. Only if really too much bleeding and other things are there, then they should go for all this. Then diet, of course, is a very important thing. Increased daily intake of saturated fats. That's a common problem among everyone. So these things can cause, these are the risk factors. So many young girls are also unaware of developing breast cancer in a young. They think that they're just 30 and so there are no chance. But they have to go at least for an ultrasound. In young patients, ultrasound can be done instead of mammography. So these are the points which I told. First, the self-examination, the lady herself can examine the breast. I will just come to those slides. And clinical breast examination, that will be done by a gynecologist or a physician. And then mammogram, which is the gold standard for the early detection. And ultrasound, it is a complementary method, but in young females, we can go for ultrasound or if patient is pregnant. So even the lowered rate of breast cancer, always stay aware of you have to be very careful about our body, even though we are busy with our work, everything. But we should also try to educate others and also be self-aware. That is very important. So these are the different types of breast examination. You all must be aware in a standing, lying posture, and the arms lifted. You can all check these with the fingers. And then place your left hand behind your head. Then with the fingers of your right hand, gently you just press down using circular motions. That is very important. So any lump or something. Of course, some people, they say they come to the for scanning and they say they're feeling lump. But that may be just a fibroadenoma or something, but nothing to be anxious. But if we do ultrasound, we can definitely know whether it is a cyst or it is actually a solid tumor. This also important is to check the armpits and then nipple also, and no need to always keep checking with the nipple, pressing the nipple. Only if there's any nipple discharge, you need to do that. Then this is the examination, the clinical examination will be done by general practitioner or a gynecologist. So let's now come to what are the tools for imaging the breast. Like this is a mammography is done, that is I already explained to you. Then that is still the gold standard in spite of so many sophisticated methods. Ultrasonography, that is very useful in especially young patients and pregnant patients. And it can be sometimes useful as a complementary technique when the breast is very dense. Breast composition is also different for different people. So some people, the breast itself is very dense. So mammogram may not be useful for them. In such patients, we have to tailor the method and then we have to go for ultrasonography. Then MRI is also another complementary method. Some patients who have implants and all, then we advise to them to go for MRI breast. It is also a simple technique. Only just she has to go and lie down for 20 minutes, and then the MRI pictures will be taken. Then there is image-guided FNAC, that is fine needle aspiration cytology or biopsy. If you find some problem, there is any solid lesion found on ultrasound, they have to definitely go for a FNAC or biopsy. There's nothing to be worried about it, but it is actually the confirmatory test. Then CT mammography, DITI, and elastography, I'm just going to, it is very sophisticated and it is really not a screening tool, but I have just mentioned it. So this is actually the gold standard, the mammogram type of X-ray. It is done in the OP itself. It just hardly takes 10 to 15 minutes, and it helps in detecting the cancers that are not felt. And it should start at the age of at least 40 years. The female has to go for a mammogram. And it should be preferably done every year, but depending upon the patient risk factors and all, we can tailor it and with the advice of the gynecologist or the general physician. This is how the mammogram picture looks like. This is a machine used for ultrasound. It is just only a little gel is placed on the breast. It is just a 20-25 minute procedure, and patient doesn't need any preparation, doesn't need to come fasting or anything. It's just an OP procedure. But it is also very useful to find out whether there is a solid or a cystic mass. That is the most important point. Whether it is solid, it is filled with water or fluid, or it is just as it is hard mass. So this is how just I showed the pictures, how the mammogram when we take, if there is calcium deposition, it will be looking like this. These are actually little dicey. This is how the cancer looks, cancer in the breast on mammogram, how it looks. If you ask me, this is actually the density, the white part which is seen with side speculation. This is actually a typical case of cancer, and we can categorize it as Beirat's category 5, because blindly seeing it, you can say that it is cancer. No need even for going for FNAC. That much we can authoritatively tell about it. So this is also another case which is showing the calcification. You can see here that ultrasound, this is an ultrasound. I was talking about cyst. This is a lesion which is filled with black thing, which is fluid. So nothing to worry about it. It is just proved to be a cyst, and it's called Beirat's category 2. I will come to that later. Beirat's is actually assessment pattern, and we categorize it accordingly. The like first, second, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 grades are there. And this is a benign thing. By category 1, 2, we are happy about it. It's the best result you can get on mammogram, 1 and 2. Because 1 means it's a normal, Beirat's 2 means there is something, but it is benign. And if 3 onwards, you have to be little careful. 3 means it can be or cannot be. So we have to go for further test. And 4 and 5 are not good. That's not a good news. So then we go to the fine needle aspiration. Like if you have already seen there is a mass, we can go for even under image guidance, we can do the fine needle aspiration with the ultrasound. We can just, the radiologist can help to take the, to point the place, and we can they do the fine needle aspiration. This is just to show how the CT mammography, these are the thermography pictures. This is elastogram. This is all actually done, but the gold standard would be, I would say, mammogram and the ultrasound. So this is just to, so when to begin the screening? This is very important, like 20 to 40 years onwards, we have to start screening. 3 years clinical breast examination. Then after 40 years, annual clinical breast examination is done. Annual mammogram should be done after 35 years. If there is any risk, you can always call the patient early. And breast awareness is very important. By word of mouth, even to our friends, we should spread this message of early detection. Nothing to be worried about. Mammogram has radiation, this, that. So those things we should not worry about. Because nowadays so much sophisticated techniques are there. The radiation dose is very low, and the collimation is so good, not like 20 years back. So women with more than 25% of risk of breast cancer, all these methods, including MRI, has to be done. Yearly MRI has to be done in such cases who have a high risk. So now let's come to myths, which is very, very interesting to hear for all of us. Only women with family history of breast cancer are at risk. So what is your opinion? So roughly 70% of the women diagnosed with breast cancer have no identifiable risk factors. So suppose my mom is having breast cancer, doesn't mean that I should have it. So it is actually mainly lifestyle modification. Whatever we can modify, we should try to modify. And whatever in the genes, it is not controlled, that we cannot do about it. But whatever is modifiable has to be modified. So most of the breast lumps are cancers. So it is not like that. 80% of the breast lumps are benign. So whenever you see any lump, you will be very scared what happens. So nothing to worry about. Most of them are actually either fibroadenoma or it can be just a cyst. So, but we have to make sure by doing the imaging. Breast cancer is non-curable. That is also a very wrong statement. And people think that once you have a breast cancer, you don't have any treatment. So now the treatment is so good. Dr. Soha will tell everything about the treatment. So I don't need to go into that details. Then only the women can get breast cancer. That is also not correct. At least out of 135 breast cancer in women, one man can be diagnosed. So we do have seen breast cancer in males also. Some think that small breast women have less chance of getting cancer and they don't go for mammogram. That's also wrong. Breast cancer always comes in form of a lump. That is a lump that is not required. Sometimes you cannot feel anything. And when we do a mammogram, we see a lot of calcifications, and which is very high with the ones which I showed. So those things are very important. Then having risk factor or even several mean, you will definitely get a disease. It does just increases your chances, but it doesn't mean that you will always get the disease. Your father's family history of breast cancer does not affect your risk as much as your mother's. Your father's family history is just as important as your mother's. So it is not like both sides, it's important. So some people say drinking coffee, there is some connection. There is no connection with drinking coffee, but of course, the amount, moderation is very important. The amount, how many coffees you're drinking, that is not good. Generally, it is not good if you have something more than the moderate. Annual mammograms expose you to so much radiation that they can increase your risk of cancer. While it's true that radiation is used in mammogram, the amount is so small that any associated risks are tiny, even compared to huge preventive benefits reaped from the test. So remember always, mammography has very less, at least only 1.4 millisieverts. That is a negligible radiation, that is which you get when you are just lying down on a beach for about 17 hours. So it doesn't matter at all. So that misconception should not be there. So breast cancer can be cured if diagnosed early. This I want you to spread to everyone, and also for your families, brothers, for your sisters and aunties, everyone. This is very important. We all have to join this fight for early detection of breast cancer, and it is treatable. That is the most beauty of this. So I will come to the concluding slide. And many studies from American Cancer Society, all these have come to this consensus that baseline can be started at 35 years. Further screening programs can be carried from 40 to 49, and individually it can be tailored. Like you cannot say for sure that this patient, it has to be done 55 years. No, some patients, if they are low risk, we can do it once in 2 years also. So above 50 years, they say that it should be done annually. So thank you very much for your time. And this October 16, as I reminded, is the World Mammography Day. And it was a nice thing. And now any questions we will.
Yeah, Dr. Elsie. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Dr. Elsie, it was a wonderful presentation, and I really love the part that you have included the myths and the doubts which people have in mind, and they generally ask questions without even getting the expert comments. So I'm really thankful to you for a wonderful presentation. Dr. Elsie, I have few questions, like how the breast cancer prevention we can focus on. So what are the preventive measures to be followed to prevent breast cancer?
Yeah, Dr. Manisha, it's a really very good question because prevention is better than cure. So, as you know, the most important thing, there are 5 or 6 points, major ones I will just enumerate. The first thing is that reducing weight. We should not be overweight. Healthy lifestyle and weight reduction. That is the easiest we can do. And nowadays, everyone is getting aware and people are using now cycles also for bikes, everything. So, swimming, all these exercises are very good. And we should also, as physicians, we should also encourage people to do those things because that can give a good thing. And then a reduction of the weight, that is important. Then physically active, I have already told you. Then don't limit your alcohol intake. Then for not our Indians, but smoking also can cause, it is a risk factor, smoking. Then limit dose of radiation, like if you continuously go and take so many CT scans, that can cause radiation, not like one mammogram in between, no. So these things are very important. And breastfeeding, I would again emphasize this, that breastfeeding is very important to
Lactation is very,
yeah,
very important.
very
It
important.
really helps to also stabilize the hormonal level postnatal, which is very important.
Yeah.
And doctor, when we go for mammography, what types of cancers are commonly detected? What are
Yeah.
the most common cancers which are detected only by mammogram,
Right.
where we don't have to go in for more invasive procedures?
Correct. That is the mammogram, which the most important is the ductal carcinoma in situ. That is stage 0, it's called. That is only in the duct the cancer spreads, in the duct. That is the first stage which can be detected by mammogram. And that is very useful because if it is, a physician by checking, she cannot find that. That is the thing. Because it is ductal carcinoma in situ means it's only come in the duct. It is not involved in the surrounding place. So it is very useful. Ductal carcinoma in situ is the most important cancer which can be diagnosed by mammogram.
Doctor, some patients, when they are pregnant, they feel that there is a risk of going for such kind of any screening during the pregnancy, and with the baby is born new, patients generally avoid going for any other tests. So what is your suggestion for a pregnant woman with dense breast? What is the modality of screening you will advise?
Yeah, the main thing is actually for pregnancy and dense breast, preferably we advise to do a ultrasound or an MRI. These are the good tests for doing in pregnancy.
And the standard reporting modalities in mammogram, as you had explained, but these gradings are there which are helpful to understand.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. These are the BI-RADS category. BI-RADS.
Yeah. Doctor, we have also seen now for the cosmetic procedures or for some other reason, there are many people who are also going for breast implants. So what modality is better if the person has got breast implants?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Dr. Manisha. Implants, especially, we do see after coming here, not in India much, but here I have seen a lot of patients coming with implant. And if we do a mammogram, it will compress, and then there is chance of implant rupture. So better is to go for an MRI for them. MRI is the best test for implant patients.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you for your questions. Dear friends, you can keep posting your questions in the chat box, and we will be definitely attending to it. Now, I would like to take permission to invite Dr. Soha Talima from Zuleika Hospital, Sharjah, to continue the session with her expertise and her guidance on the treatment plan. Dr. Soha Talima has more than 15 years of work experience in the clinical oncology in Egypt and Middle East. Dr. Soha is treating adult and pediatric cancers by chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and immunotherapy. Dr. Soha has worked extensively and has many research publications to her credit. I welcome Dr. Soha.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. Actually, I'm very happy to share and to participate in awareness of breast cancer. Actually, one of my aim is awareness of cancer in general and breast cancer especially. Very happy to be with you today.
Yeah. Dr. Soha, I have few questions with you, and let's hope to have a nice interactive session. Of course, in a short session, we cannot cover the ample knowledge which you have.
Yes.
And I'm sure Zuleika Hospital is welcoming all the participants to come and have a free session with you. And that is for the patients who are 25 years and above, and
Yes.
over 40 years of age. What I realize is they can come for the mammography and X-ray. I'm sure you will be announcing it soon. And I am really thankful for all the participants to be here and sending their questions. So let me start with Dr. Soha. What are the treatment options available for breast cancer patients? Can you give some guidance about it?
Yes, sure. Actually, in the start, I will give like definition of cancer. What's cancer? Cancer means uncontrolled growth of cells. How uncontrolled? Actually, in our body, cell division is very important. Cell division is important for growth and for healing of wounds. Normally, the division of cells in our body is controlled by two sets of genes. We have genes that promote cell division, and we have other genes which stop cell division. So if any abnormality happens in the genes which stop cell division, like exposure, it can occur from exposure to environmental factors, or the genes, abnormal genes inherited from the father or the mother. So cell division will continue, and these genes are unable to stop cell division. So cell division will continue and form a lump. And this lump will compress on the normal cells around and interfere with the normal function of the healthy cells around. Also, cancer cells have the ability to go in the bloodstream to different parts in the body. So this is why cancer is bad. But why breast cancer screening in specific? Breast cancer is a major health problem worldwide. Estimated 2 million new cases diagnosed per year. And actually, we have no direct causes of cancer. Only its risk factors. We have modifiable risk factors and unmodifiable risk factors. And actually, the most important is the unmodifiable risk factors. As Dr. Isa said, age, growing, becoming older, it's a risk factor of cancer. Being a female, it's a major risk factor. So screening is very important. So I cannot prevent totally breast cancer. So to diagnose it early as much as I can.
Yes, doctor.
Like,
so early detection of breast cancer by mammography is the gold standard, as Dr. Elsie has mentioned, and you also vouch for it. Doctor, what are some key aspects the patients have to keep in mind when they are undergoing treatment? Something like some lifestyle changes or some physical changes, or what are some side effects the patients have to keep in mind? Can you please advise about it?
Yes, actually, I will give a brief introduction about what is the treatment. Treatment is different between women with breast cancer. Treatment depends on the stage of breast cancer and the type of breast cancer. Oh, we have types of breast cancer. Breast cancer is not only one type, it's different types. Different types depending on the genetic of the breast cancer itself. We have at least 4 types of breast cancer with different treatments. Actually, I will tell you, at the beginning of my career, 16 years ago, we used to treat all breast cancer patients the same. All will receive surgical treatment, all will receive chemotherapy, all will receive hormonal treatment. Actually, now, no, it's not like this. I will start with surgical treatment. Surgical treatment is the removal of the whole breast in the past, and now we only remove the cancer. We only remove the lump because now detection is easy. Screening is, people become aware of breast cancer. So now we are not going to remove the whole breast, only remove the tumor. Okay, we have chemotherapy. Chemotherapy acts on healthy cells and normal cells. So chemotherapy has a lot of side effects, but fortunately we have treatment that can control most of the side effects of chemotherapy. We have something called targeted therapy. What's targeted therapy? I think it's new to hear about what targeted therapy. Actually, as I told you before, all breast cancer patients treated the same. But in 2008, actually, after the Genome Atlas, after discovery of the Genome Atlas and knowing more about the normal cells and knowing more about the cancer cells, now we know that cancer cells is different from the normal cells. Cancer cells have targets, not in normal cells. By development of drugs, now we have drugs that go to kill the cancer cells only. In about 20% of breast cancer patients, we find a gene called HER2 gene. We have a drug that targets this gene, and so the response is higher, and the cure is there with this target treatment. We have hormonal treatment. Hormonal treatment, about 60% of breast cancer patients having hormones positive on the cancer cells, and hormonal treatment should be given for such patients. So we have different treatments. Some patients will be treated by surgery alone. Some patients will be treated by hormonal and targeted therapy. Other patients will be treated with chemotherapy and targeted therapy. So we have different breast types and different treatment options. This is regarding treatment.
Yeah. And doctor, you mentioned that some stages of cancer can be cured. So at what stage we can think that cancer can be cured, and what stages are considered as high risk cases?
Yes. Really, breast cancer can be cured. Breast cancer, if discovered early in the stage 0 and stage 1, actually stage 0 can be detected by screening, as Dr. Elsie said, by mammogram. We can detect stage 0. Stage 0 means that cells are within the ducts, within a cover of membrane, so the cells will not go outside to the lymph nodes or all over the body. So it's a very, very curable stage. We have stage 1, stage 2, also same. Cure is there, about 98% in stage 1 and about 93% in stage 2. But if the cancer spread outside the breast, in stage 4, can go in the brain, liver, lung. Actually, this stage is considered high risk. So the high risk because there is no cure, only giving treatment for palliation of symptoms, whatever the symptoms.
So the high risk cases, what will be the advice or what will be the treatment? It's only palliative care, or some treatment is still given and then palliative care starts?
Yes, actually I'm telling about chemotherapy or targeted therapy or hormonal therapy. If given in this stage, it's also palliative. Not palliative by analgesics or no, by our treatment. We know that there is no cure in stage 4. So we're giving chemotherapy or targeted therapy to alleviate the symptoms, to whatever by the symptoms, if in brain or liver or lung.
Doctor, what is your advice or suggestions post-treatment, after the patient has taken all the treatment, whatever is the suggestion he has followed? So how often one should go for checkup again? Maybe himself or herself, they can do self-breast examination still, or they have to come to the clinical diagnosis and treatment portion again? Do they have to start again? Can you enlighten us on that?
Yes. Actually, my advice for patient going through the chemotherapy or even the treatment process, that she should put in her mind that it's a short period of time, and she will be fine again after treatment. And many of the side effects of chemotherapy now, we have treatments for these side effects. My advice for any patient during chemotherapy and after chemotherapy is nutrition. She should eat healthy with a lot of fruits and a lot of vegetables containing many minerals and vitamins. Very, very important. Very important to keep body weight. Body weight is very important and it has slightly increased the risk of breast cancer. Try to do physical exercise during chemotherapy and after chemotherapy. I know during chemotherapy it may be difficult because of fatigue, but try to start even by walking, even by half an hour per day, every 2 days per week. Like this, very important physical exercise. It will ease and reduce fatigue and feeling of nausea. It will boost the immune system. This is my advice for during chemotherapy. And after chemotherapy, same nutrition is very important. What about sugar? Because Many times
Yes, doctor.
people
Sugar is
ask
very
me
important factor.
about sugar. What is eat sugar or no? I will tell you, it's not related to sugar. Cancer cells grow fast, as I told you. Grow fast, so it needs calories and need glucose faster than the normal cells. Whatever we eat, whether vegetables, fruits, carbohydrates, or any, it will be transformed in our body to blood sugar. And this blood sugar is glucose. So it will go for the cancer cells and normal cells. So it's not related to sugar by me. What is the problem with sugar? The glycemic index. I mean, the glycemic index, it means the rate of rise of blood sugar in our bodies. So if I eat pure sugar, this glycemic index will rise rapidly. I mean, blood sugar will be high, and this will affect. Many of the studies reveal that high glycemic index is linked to higher risk of breast cancer. So it's very important.
Patients who are already diabetic and whose diabetes is not under control, even they do fall, the patients who are obese, they also fall in the high risk group, irrespective of age factor.
Yes, very important to control diabetes and hypertension, very important to control, as I told you, body weight. But I mean, not completely to stop eating sugar. Try to eat healthy diet and take sugar, which is complex sugar, like in apple, like in fruits, not to take direct sugar. So glycemic index will be high, and this carry higher risk for breast cancer.
So doctor, it is said that certain medications like patients use to reduce the weight, some weight loss treatment or taking stevia instead of sugars. We have a lot of people using different things. Do you advise these things?
Natural things, okay. But there is no trials or no studies about these agents, it's linked with the breast cancer. So I can't, with all of our advice is related to trials, to studies. Actually, no studies, so better to avoid any synthetic treatment or synthetic drugs. It's better. But stevia, I think stevia, it's natural. Okay, try to take it, no problem in stevia.
So ultimately, what I gather is lifestyle modification is the key to practically all the diseases, but more so for us ladies, in case of breast cancer awareness, it's the highlight point, I believe. Doctor, there is one interesting questions of the record I just want to ask you today. We have seen, we are all ladies here, we can talk about it, like different type of bras people use, some very tight fitting, something with wire or synthetic or lace or cotton. Does it have any relation with the breast health, if not cancer, but in general breast health?
Yes, very, very important question. No link with any type of bra with breast cancer. No link at all. So wear whatever, no problem.
That's very interesting. We have got a few questions from some friends. I'll just ask you, what are the possible side effects a person gets if she is detected with breast cancer? This question is by Pooja Agarwal.
Yeah, you mean side effects of treatment or side effects of being diagnosed with breast cancer?
Being diagnosed. What are the factors to consider? How to suspect, maybe that is the question.
Yes, actually, being diagnosed with breast cancer should put in mind that she is prone to have another breast cancer, another breast. So she is considered to be high risk of breast cancer. Okay, this is very important. So careful examination of the other breast is very important. To go to check up with her doctor regularly is very, very important. And actually, I will tell you something regarding genetics. Now, as I told you, we have abnormal genes or genes which stop cell division may become abnormal from the environment or inherited from father or mother. We have two genes, very important breast cancer, called BRCA1 and BRCA2. BRCA1, BRCA2 are responsible for the most of breast cancer cases. Now, the recommendations is that any woman with breast cancer, diagnosed with breast cancer, is to go for BRCA1 and BRCA2 testing. It's not only BRCA1, BRCA2 testing, but it's a panel of genetics.
Yes.
The most important is BRCA1, BRCA2. And if she tested positive, her family, all of her family should do the test, or BRCA1 and BRCA2 testing, or whatever genes. Because the probability of having one in the family having this gene is 50%, 50%. Okay, and if negative, okay, no one will do the test. When no one is needed to do the test. So having BRCA1, BRCA2 genetic abnormality carry higher risk of having breast and ovarian cancer, about 80% during lifetime. I mean, if one healthy without breast cancer tested positive for BRCA1 or BRCA2, carry about 80% chance of having breast cancer in her lifetime, and about 40% having ovarian cancer in her lifetime. So it's a big percentage. So I mean by this not to make people from, no, but it's very important information. So if one having a family, having a mother or father or any first degree relative having breast cancer, it's better to do the test BRCA1 and BRCA2. So for me as a healthy person, having my one of my family tested positive, and I tested positive for BRCA1, BRCA2, I have the options. We have different options to go to removal of both breasts and both ovaries to reduce the risk as much as we can, or careful checking breast, examination of the breast. We will do MRI breast instead of mammogram or ultrasound. So it's like putting this person under the microscope. It's like this.
Yes.
So it's very important. Yeah.
Dr. Ms. Urvashi wants to know that for people, girls, especially under 30 years or 25 years, what is your advice, especially to the young girls?
Yes, especially to the younger. If she have family history, she should be more careful, because as I told you, if the gene is there, the probability is high of having the gene and of having breast cancer during lifetime. So it's very important, as Dr. Essie said, careful examination, self-examination. Screening starts from 25 years. Screening, I mean by clinical examination by physician. She should go to examine herself, to do whatever imaging needed. This is very important. And not to be panicked if she discovered a breast lump. Not all breast lumps are cancer. Cancer is at the bottom of the list. We have many benign mean non-cancerous problems in the breast, like fibroadenoma, like cysts, very common. So, but if discovered lump in the breast, she should go to the doctor to check what is this. This is very important.
Doctor, this is very important information which you have shared. So what I understand is, and I believe all participants have learned a lot today, the basic thing is lifestyle management, which is very important, maintaining your weight, eating a healthy lifestyle. And if there is a risk factor, then go for BRCA1 and BRCA2 test for genes. But in general, anyone about 25 years should go regularly for health cancer awareness, for guidance from the doctor, and all the girls should be taught the self-breast examination. If any ladies above 40 years of age, they should go regularly for mammography. And if doctor advises, they can definitely go for further imaging like ultrasound and MRI and DRTI as the doctor advises. So there is no fear of risk factors or cancer, even if it is detected in early stages like 0 stage or grade 1, then there are treatment options available, and 95 to 100% of patients are cured. And even if we are diagnosed at little higher stage, still we have option of good palliative treatment by radiotherapy, chemotherapy, and immunotherapy. And we are lucky to have wonderful doctors with us who are helping us to diagnose early and treat us early. Doctor, thank you very much for your kind information. Doctor, I would like you to announce what Zulekha Hospital has for our members.
Actually, Zulekha Hospital provide free consultation with a doctor starting from 25 years and free mammogram starting from 40 years.
That's great. I really thank on behalf of IBPC Women's Forum, Zulekha Hospital, Sharjah and Zulekha Hospital, Dubai, that is Zulekha group of hospitals, to give us this opportunity that we can share with our friends, with our members, and they can all get benefited. Over to Ms. Jaya Bhatia. Ms. Jaya Bhatia.
Thank you, Dr. Manisha. Thank you. Friends, wow, such an informative webinar on breast cancer awareness. I must say, it was the most needed for all of us to give special attention to our health and well-being, especially during these challenging and testing times. On behalf of Indian Business Professional Council and Women's Wing, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Elsie Biju Oman and Dr. Soha Muhammad Abdallaki Talima for bringing insightful presentation with simplistic details, and they did empower us to be more aware towards the breast cancer. And Dr. Manisha for bringing up those valuable Q&A sessions today. We were delighted. Friends, do you know that 25% of the women diagnosed with breast cancer every year, which means 1 out of 8 are impacted, and unfortunately, it's said that about 50 to 60% will survive. Figures may vary. Doctors are the best to tell, but this is what I could see when I did a net search. We at steering committee at Women's Wing, myself, Ms. Jaya Mahalingam, Dr. Manisha Phadke, and Chetna Shastri, are more than willing to listen to your suggestions on how we could support your business during these challenging times and what are the other sessions that you would like to have under IPPC Wing. With your support and suggestions, we look forward to more such exciting and informative events. Before we part, I would like to thank Indian Business Professional Council for facilitating this most needed webinar, and we look forward to more of these informative sessions and support. And overall, I must thank all the attendees for taking out your valuable time from the daily schedule and being present here. We at Women's Wing are determined to bring more interesting informative sessions. Till then, I take your leave. Thank you.
Thank you.